Hello, welcome to 2030 Lab 6 file sharing. My name is Scott Ingram, and today we are going to do some file sharing. We're going to start with joining the even and the odd computers to the domain. We're going to add 2 users to that domain, then we're going to create 2 global groups, and we're going to add one of those users to each global group. Second, we're going to set up one file folder on the odd computer and share it. We're going to set up one file folder on the even computer and share it. And we're going to add some documents in these shared folders. We're going to set permissions to the share on the even computer, so one global group 1 can read and the global group, the second one, can modify documents. We're going to set both share and NTFS permissions on the odd computer and reverse the permissions for the 2 groups. As you can see, the outline for how we're going to do that there. And group 1 can read the documents in the shared folder on the odd computer, and group 2 can modify the documents in the shared folder on the odd computer. And group 1 can modify the documents in the shared folder on the even computer, and group 2 can read the documents in the shared folder on the even computer. Fourth, we're going to demonstrate that the permissions are working across the network. Then we will, on the odd computer, set up a domain-based DFS namespace and create a DFS folder structure that will support this share on the 2 file servers. And then we're going to demonstrate that DFS namespace is working. We're going to set up a DFS replication so that the share on the odd and the even servers are replicated to the other server. And then we're going to demonstrate that replication is actually occurring. So let's begin. Okay, our first task was to add 801 to the LucernePublishing.com domain. We have done that. In the 802 computer, it has been added to the LucernePublishing.com domain, as you can see here. Now, in the Instructor 01 computer, we have created, I've created user 1 lab 6 and user 2 lab 6. Let's see here. Here in group 1 lab 6, you have the member user 1 lab 6. In group 2 of lab 6, you have a member user 2 lab 6. So we have everything set in place, and now we begin setting up file folders. Alright, we're in the Windows 2008-01 computer on the C drive, and we have created a folder here called the Windows 2008-01 folder. Inside the Windows 2008-01 folder is the Windows 2008-01 text document, and it's there. Now in the Windows 2008-02 computer on the C drive, we have created the Windows 2008-02 folder. Inside the Windows 2008-02 folder is the Windows 2008-02 text. So there they are. Now we are going to share this folder. We are going to right click on it and we are going to click share. Alright, we're going to use the rule of thumb that was spoken about earlier, and we're going to let everyone have share permissions. We're going to add them as a co-owner, and we're going to share this folder. And as you can see, the share has been created. It's done. Alright, we're in the 801 computer. We're going to click Start. We're going to click Administrative Tools, and we're going to go down to to Share and Storage Management. So we're going to click on this one, the 801 folder, and we get into the 801 folder here. We see that it is a shared folder. We'll go over to Permissions. The share permissions we've already set up. We're going to NTFS permissions. We're going to delete just regular users from using this folder, so everyone doesn't get access. It says we can't remove that until we turn off the inherited permissions. We'll click OK. We'll go down into Advanced, and right here it says Include Inheritable Permissions for this object's parent. We will copy that over to here, and we'll click OK. Now we should be able to delete this fella, and we'll delete everyone also. We can add the groups that we have already created. There's Group 1 Lab 6 from Lucerne Publishing. So we'll click OK and add him. Now we'll add, so now we have Group 1 Lab 6 here and Group 2. Now, according to our document, Group 1 on the odd number computer, which is Windows 2008-01, is supposed to have read permissions only. So, as you can see here, he doesn't have modify. He definitely doesn't have full control. All he has here is read, execute, and read. So he's good. We've already got him took care of. Group 2, we're going to have to change him to where he can modify the document. So now he can modify, and which means he can write to the document too. So we'll click Apply. We'll click OK. Now we will go over to the even number computer, the 802 computer, and set up these same permissions. All right. And as you can see here, we have on this this Windows 2008 computer the folder we created earlier. So we'll go into him and see it's being shared. Here's permissions. We've already got our share permissions. We're going to NTFS permissions now. So now we have Group 1 and Group 2. On our NTF permissions, since we're on the even number computer, Group 1 is supposed to be able to modify. So we will click Modify for them, which gives them Modify, which means they can write also. So he's took care of now. Group 2 should only be able to read the documents. So as we can see right there, that's taken care of now. We'll click OK. Alright, we're on the Windows 2008-01 computer. I'm going to click on this. As you can see, I'm user 1 of Lab 6. Now I'm going to access the share across the network. It came up right there, so I'll click on it. That brings me to the folder that I created on the Windows 2008-02 computer and shared. Here is the text. It says Group 1 can modify me. Group 2 can only read. And we will go to File, and we will click Save, and it saves in the 2008-02 text. So, but what if I'm in Windows 2008-02 computer, and I access my share across the network, the 801 share, and here are the shares on the 801 computer, and I will go into my Windows 2008-01 folder, into my Windows 2008-01 text. It says Group 2 can modify me, Group 1 can only read me. And so we will write, oh yeah, in defiance of that. And we'll see if we can save. And it tells us that we cannot save. So, it was true, I cannot modify. Alright, now I am just to show you, I am user 2 Lab 6, and I have already accessed the share on the 802 computer from Windows 2008-01. Click on that. There's the text document. It says that Group 1 can modify me, Group 2 can only read me. And a few moments ago, Group 1 did modify. So again, we will test this out, and in rebellion we will cry out, oh yeah. And so now we'll click File, click Save, and we see that we cannot save. And now we'll go over to the 802 computer. On the 802 computer, I'll show you I am user 2 Lab 6. User 2 will access the 801 folder, and we can access the 801.2 text. And since he is a member of Group 2, he can modify. Watch him modify. So we'll click File, we'll click Save, and we can see it is saved. And if I click that again, you can see it did it. Alright, so we're on the Windows 2008-01 computer. We're going to go to Administrative Tools, go to DFS Management. We're going to right click on namespaces, and we're going to create a new namespace. We're going to use W2K801, and we'll click Next. The name of this one will be called Replicate. It will be a domain-based namespace. So we'll click next, and we will create. Alright, we've successfully created the namespace. Now we're going to set up a new folder. We're going to set up the shares we did earlier. We'll click Add and Browse, and we will do the 801 folder. We'll click OK. Click OK. Put a name for it up there. Folder. And click OK. Now we will add new folder. Click Add. And there's our 802 folder. We'll click OK. And OK. And add it to the namespace. So now, as you can see, we have set up 8012 and 801 folder in our replicate namespace. Now we'll demonstrate that's working. Alright, I'm on the 802 computer now. I'm going to access the Windows 2008-01 computer. There is the replicate shared folder. Now we see we have the 801 folder with the 801 text and the 802 folder with the 802 text. And we can open it and see it, and it's still there. And just to prove that this is domain based, here I am on the 801 computer. I'm going to click on computer. I'm going to go in here to disk C. As you can see, the replicate folder is not here. Now I'll go under network. I'll go under 801. And here is the replicate share that's being set out here. And here's the 802 folder. Here's the 802 text. There it is again. So that confirms the domain-based namespace is working. Okay, I'm on the Windows 2008-02 computer, and I've created a folder called 801 Replicate. And on it, I'm going to share it with everyone. Click share. So now I've created the 801 replicate share here on the 802 computer. Now I went over to the 801 computer. I'm going to go down into the C drive and create a folder. This folder is going to be the 802 replicate. Enter. And we're going to share it with everyone. Add that on. Click share. And we have created the 802 replicate. We are in DFS management. We're going to take the 801 folder here, and we're going to click to add a folder target. We're going to browse to the target. Here is the 801 replicate folder that we're looking for on the 802 machine. So we're going to click OK. Now it will replicate the 801 folder to the 802 machine into the 801 replicate folder. We're not going to do that right now. Second, we're going to add a folder target to the 802 machine. We're going to browse. And this is the 802 folder. And we're going to replicate to the 802 replicate. And click OK. And click OK. And this is the replication group for the Windows 2008-02 folder. And we're going to click Next. And there's the folder targets. Click Next. The primary member is the 801. We'll click Next. Full mesh topology, full bandwidth, and we will create. We've created two different replication groups for these two, and we have configured replication. Now we will see how that works out for us. Right, I am on the Windows 2008-02 computer, as you can see here. I am going to go into local disk C. Here is the 801 replicate share that is the target. Inside is the 801 text that is on the 801 computer. And since I am logged in as user 2 of Lab 6, I can open that up. We'll save that to watch me replicate. We will click save, and it is now saved. Now I'm going to go over to the 801 computer. And on the 801 computer, here I have the open up the 801 text, and you can see that replication has taken place. It says watch me replicate because it's going at full bandwidth and it sends it quick. So it did send it on that one. Now I will go back over to the 802 computer, and on the 802 computer is the 802 folder. On the 802 folder, I am going to create a new folder, and I'll call it reply, and I'll go into that folder and I'll create a new text document, reply text, and right there it is, and we'll even write something on it, and we have saved it. So we've created all this here, and it's in this 802 folder. This 802 folder is supposed to be replicated over to the 802 replicate folder that I created on 801. So now I am in 801 again, and up here is the 802 replicate folder. We'll click refresh just to make sure, and there we see now there is a reply folder, and there is a reply text, and the reply text says here I am.